Alright, back again with another update on this whole project. It's been, I mean, when I say like painfully fun, I mean it. Got this, it's a terminal adapter set up, and that goes into the Raspberry Pi to this thermometer. I think I may have showed this already, but it goes into the back here. I actually ordered a part that's going to go on top of it, so I can actually have all these pins here as screw-in adapters, and it makes it a little bit easier and cleaner. And then that should work very well with the this thing here, this hi-hat cover. The cable, so I can hook up the battery and have this whole thing assembled here. It should be coming in today, but it won't matter because I'm gonna take it off anyway, so that I can actually do the so that I can go and do put in more of these cables. I ordered more thermometers, so I'm starting to work on some code. I'm already starting to work on the graphing and the interface for this whole deal. So let that zoom in there. Very cool. So Growbox. So with this being this is the Chrome browser in kiosk mode, so it takes up the entire screen. I tried to get something to where I can actually close this window out, but I couldn't get that control on here. Also, onboard keyboard is just not going to work. I can have another type of keyboard. I think I have it around here somewhere. I have tons of other keyboards. But those all-in-one Logitech keyboards that have the mouse and the... no, that's not it. That has the mouse and the keyboard all in one, integrated there. So... I actually got some menus up and running here. Oh, so that's what the hell? That's disappearing on me. I'm not sure what that is, but I have to figure that out. Anyway, so those menus got that up, or got that put in there. I try to do my web design work first, and then make things work. So once I know, the way my mind works is once I know how it looks, then I can make it work how I can make it work how I want it to. So I just finished learning how to use these the Google charts. I've used Morris charts before, which is another project, but I got this whole touchscreen display. Also, this right here is a refresh button, so it actually refreshes everything that's on the screen, which is cool. And I got a forward and back button, so if I go forward, it should show something. Right? Yeah. Boom. No, not doing it. I guess because I destroyed the session. Huh. Anyways, I know that works. It's just maybe I should practice my demos. Anyways, so I got that working. The way I'm gonna have this planned out is that it's gonna show this graphing data in 10-minute intervals. As you can see here, hopefully, once it zooms in. I know it's there. Come on. Look better now. Focus. Oh, I can tap the screen. There we go. Cool. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. Sorry about that. So once it has this, it'll show the data, and it'll show power consumption, and then a humidity, which I have a humidity sensor coming. Come on. It's hard to do it when you're touching, so I might make these bars bigger. I might actually widen this out to where it only shows a little bit of data, so these bars can be fatter. So it's good to go through these things and test humidity and percentage and everything like that. I just got it to where I got the text coloring right. It didn't take too long to figure that out. So I got that going. I did the background myself, just using an image. These icons I got from forgot what it was, but I usually always cite my sources when it comes to these free icons that they give out. So all my HVAC controls, lighting, irrigation, temperature, power, and settings have quick buttons, nice and big. Then functions and controls here. This thing does this where these elements show up weird, but I know if I just use my refresh button there and kind of wait a while, sometimes it doesn't show up. It's weird. I also have the top button here. I got that going. That's like really teeing me off because on the computer browser it won't show that, of course. So I'm not sure what's not translating here. And you see, like on refresh, boom, it's fine. It could be just cache information or information caching or something like that. But that's how it's supposed to look right here. And then I got a problem with this link that I gotta fix. But again, I'm not even. Somebody's just asking me like, how far you think you are, and it's like, you made a lot of progress. I was like, yeah, I made a lot of progress, but I'm nowhere even near 5% done. And I already have kind of the interface worked out, at least the overview page, which is where like the important stuff really is. But then inputting settings, sensor names, and all that other stuff, the stuff that I have planned, that's gonna take a while. And then boom, so all that is right there. Oh, that probably disappeared earlier because where the mouse was. But all that's there. I mean, you know, it's like it's running very fast. This is pulling from the web sort from my my dev server, and on my dev server I have like everything in there to do whatever. I have it pushing to my Git repository. But when it's on the local host, everything should load a little bit faster because it's local. I tried to get it to where I can download most of the fonts and all the other stuff onto this device so that it doesn't require anything for setups where there is no internet. So if anything, you just have the local network. But I love these icons. That worked out really well. The settings, I usually like to use a gear, but this actually works out very well because, you know, it's kind of a garden theme to it. So visually it's fairly pleasing. I don't know what I'm going to put here. I also have to, actually, I only knew what, yeah, I know what I'm going to put here. I'm probably going to put like temperature information. May or may not need that because I already have it up here. So if it's taking just getting the temperature information every 10 minutes, then that should be good. Also, with a computer like this, a little mini computer, you have to worry about things like I/O. So I can have, you know, a full-blown package of MySQL for my database server and HTTP or something lighter, maybe for my web server and all the other stuff. But then I have to worry about I/O, reading and writing to disk. How long will the disk last itself? Having maybe multiple disks in there. And when I say disks, I'm talking about like little USB drives. Plug it into the side here and get that all going. So there's a lot to think about. The way I usually make my software, it can go on just about any Linux system. So this should be easy to put on even a regular computer with an SSD and maybe a couple hard drives or a couple array of hard drives, what have you. I've already thought about, you know, having what they like a base control unit and then having all the little Raspberry Pis around for collecting sensor data and pushing it out. So that's when I say like, hey, I'm not even 5%. I'm not even nowhere near 5%. It's because there's so many things that I've thought of that would actually do well on this project and complement it. Just refocus that for you so you can actually really see how it looks. And I apologize for the like blurriness of the video, but I try to, like, I'm very excited about this whole deal, and this is working fairly well. Like, I'm very impressed with it here. You know, with these Chrome browsers, they have swipe controls, so I actually go back like that, and then if I wanted to, I can go forward with that button, which is really, really cool. So this actually, I think this is actually because there's low voltage. I was saying earlier that it's sensing the battery, but as you can see, the battery's not hooked up and it's still doing that. And I think it's just because I'm using like a regular cell phone charger to actually power this device, the Raspberry Pi itself. Actually got to write the code so it can start getting information from the thermometers. So that'll do that. But I test everything on my main computer here, and then make all my changes to the in this case, this is the file that I'm looking at for doing all my coding for the cool chart. I have to actually make that to where I can take input dynamic data that's collected via what's it called? That's collected via database, via a SQL database. or collected via a PHP script that writes to an SQL database, and then I gotta have it output all that information from the SQL database and not live. Again, managing read and writes and what's necessary, and then also storing that data, and then of course still listening to tunes and doing all the other stuff. But this is kind of like my dev op here, and then this is how I'm like working with everything. So this is what I go through, and then of course, you know, dealing with the documentation too. Like, oh my goodness, documentation just to get like to change colors on something, you know, like this is the syntax that I have to actually look at on a regular basis just to make sure that the text color turns out white, along with other tools, getting code snippets from various places. You know, it's a lot, but it's fun though, because, you know, I'm seeing something like really something really come to life here, so that's really cool. And we'll see. Hopefully I'll just have more updates. Maybe this project will be something that will be turn into something a little bit nicer. I'm hoping to actually get this to where I can actually start taking in sensor data and have everything output the way I want it, and then start putting it in you know, actual enclosed gardens, containers, and stuff like that. The thermometer is not too bad. It's decent. I'm sure I could probably get more accurate ones that are out there, but I have a couple ideas of what I'm going to do about that, and then also power control, like how to control power consumption, how to track that, and get all that information. So there's going to be a lot to all of this. So yeah, thank y'all as always. Peace.